and welcome back to the start of What If Week. And to start off, we're getting one of the big boys out of the way, folks. We are going with What If Naruto was a full Uzumaki with Adamantine chains. This one is like falls into the category of like what if Naruto was a Senju / had wood release, or what if Naruto was adopted by one of the clans. It's one of the big boys. It's one of the ones that a lot of people gave that I can now really get a breakdown. And you want to know how many people have given me this? Okay. So this one comes to us from Hanzo Bako, Bien Kyle Jimez. Now, okay, some of these I need to write better sometimes. Purple Lightning, Tai Nian, Shadow 82, or Shadows 82, Sir Duncason, Deveris Bouquet, Maison Merlin, Office LX, Hyperboy 14, Keto, Charles Bazhoff, Fused Varus, Shinobi Ranger Blue, Anime Super, Random Half, I think it's MySpace Half or my something half, my Sing Half, whatever. Salty Canadian, Senator Armstrong, Kane White. God, this one always gets me. That okay shouldn't be. I think it's the toaster. Is it the tot? Is it like the thought that never? I mean, it's the thought that shouldn't be. Maybe that's what it is, because it's like very few. There's no space, and it's like very few vowels in there. Joshua Merriweather, Kane Davis, Collis Williams, Frankie Furrow, someone GH Judge, Dio, and the myth that never was. Now, I got that done about the same time I did in the first category of us. Now, I actually just restarted this video because the realization came to me in this video while I was doing this that I didn't consider the first time. I'm like, oh no, that changes this entirely. So, for this to actually make sense, Naruto being a full Uzumaki with Adamantine chains, the obvious answers the two answers are this. Minato's not his actual dad, or Minato's an Uzumaki. And I went with Minato's an Uzumaki. But what I did say was, I don't, at least not initially, didn't think that the Uzumaki would be straight out royalty in the leaf. Now, with Minato being the Hokage, that could slowly change. Remember, around this time, the Uzumaki are either already wiped out or about to be wiped out. And it's amazing in like only 12 years. Their legacy is kind of forgotten by the Leaf a lot, but I'm sure Danzo had a part in doing that. Like a lot of people just kind of negated their history. But more to the point, first off, I kind of still like the idea of Minato having the blonde hair. But what I didn't think about at first, and then I realized, oh no, F that. This changes everything if I do it this way, and I kind of like this. If Minato had the Adamantine chains just like Kushina, this makes the entire event around Naruto's birth drastically different. Let's get down to this. Okay. We'd actually had to open this up. And I'm sure, again, they know they're Uzumaki, whatever. So it's like, oh, they're the Uzumakis. Oh, my God, they're some of the last two Uzumakis. Oh, they're having, and obviously Minato. Not Mito. What was it? What was Sasuke's mom name? Sasuke's mom name? Something Uchiha. Why am I blanking on his mom? Anyway, she's commenting about, you're getting raised because it hurts. And obviously, we could cut to the birth of Naruto. Now, luckily, we know Minato was able. Minato. I keep saying Minato, but I believe it's more like Minato. Not me. But he's, keeping the seal. Obviously, Naruto's born, and Obito catches Naruto and threatens Naruto. Obviously, we know the third's wife was killed in that, and several other people were killed in that. But Minato again saves Naruto and catches Kushina. Now, obviously, he still ends up releasing Kurama. Now, Kushina's life force as an Uzumaki is strong enough that she was weak, but she was able to survive it. In fact, truth be told, she probably would have ended up surviving it regardless. But here's where the huge difference comes in. Minato obviously throws the Tails Beast bomb out of the village thanks to the Flying Raijin, summons Bunta, gets him out of the village. They need to get him out of the village so that, they can properly reseal him. The huge difference here, though, is this. With both of them, because Kushina was also holding Kurama down with her chains. But Minato would also have adamantine chains, which means they're tag teaming this as after he takes care of Obito. Yeah, obviously. Which that really wouldn't go, I don't think, that different. Although, if he grabs, say, Obito with the chains, Obito's in trouble. Because those are sealing chains. They don't just work on Tailbeast. They, in theory, can work on everything. They're made, let me actually just look up everything the adamantine chains actually do. Adamantine chains Naruto. Because they're chakra chains. They're not, I mean, and they do obviously have a physical form to interact with things, but they're not something that you can just, that are just like made of metal. Like you would, like say someone with magnet release wouldn't be able to affect these things. This is a sealing technique that's characteristic of Uzumaki can produce chains made out of their own chakra, which typically emerge from the torso. Users control the chains as they extend outwards from their body and most commonly wrap around the target and restrain them. Ow, go away, Ad. Ugh. I'm trying to read. And restrain them. The chains are extremely durable enough that even the Nine Tails would struggle to destroy them. In the anime, in addition to physically binding targets, the chains can also neutralize their target by binding them and nullifying their chakra. Depending on the number and the length of the chains, they may prefer to initially create only a few chains or whatever. A barrier can be erected between two or more seal chains, which is quite impregnable. Kushina creates such a barrier to not only prevent the Nine Tails from escaping defined area, but also prevent the third Hokage from entering. And she was weak at the time. Because the chains are made of chakra, the chains can produce be produced anywhere the user's chakra resides. When she was the Jinchuriki, she used them to bind them in the subconscious, and for reasons she never once lost control. And then we see the chains can also be used offensively to slash and destroy the Karin's wood and the giant wood Buddha thing that Zetsu's made using Yamato. So yes, these things are powerful, and with Minato being able to, just add on to his own seals, they're able to actually fully keep. Because Kurama struggled against a weakened Kushina. Minato, who's fresh, capable, they'd be able to bind his ass down. This still raises a problem, though. They still need to reseal Kurama, and while the binding chain, the chains do work for binding and use in combination with seals, themselves, from what I can tell, do not seal. You could not reseal Kurama with the adamantine chains, as far as I can tell. At least that's not in their description. They are still known as they're still classified as a sealing technique, if I remember correctly. Heiden, ninjutsu, fujutsu. So they are bare ninjutsu. They are classified in a combination of ninjutsu, fujutsu, and barrier-jutsu. But again, like I said, they're not actually classified as Kekkei Genkai, even though only the Uzumaki can use them, and it's genetic. Although, in theory, I suppose it could also be taught if you're an Uzumaki, but we know Karin just automatically unlocked hers. So it does function more like a Kekkei Genkai for the clan. So if you want to argue they have a Kekkei Genkai, it's not their huge chakra reserves or life force or stamina. That's not even a trait of the Senju. That's not a Kekkei Genkai. That's just the physical body. That's just, physical traits passed down. It's not techniques or anything like that. But the chakra chains would be considered one. Regardless, though, they still have to reseal Kurama, and unfortunately, it would still involve the Reaper Death Seal. But the difference here is very simple. Minato still probably ends up giving his life. Kushina's probably like, no, you can't do that. Don't do this. Minato's like, Kushina, it's my duty as Hokage and his father. He'll be fine. It's like, no, just seal it back into me. You wouldn't survive it, and the fox would just break out again and go on a rampage. It has to be me, and it has to be our son, and you have to do what you can to guide him through this. And that's what your job as a mother is going to be. And so ultimately, Kushina's like, I love you, Kushina. And obviously, he's making the sacrifice, sealing half of Kurama into him and the other half into Naruto. And so Naruto cries, and Kushina's there, and she's just, fine, it's all right, Naruto. Mama's here. And so this is also turned into a combination of what if Kushina survived. Now, mind you, I will still do that one at another point in time, because we're also talking about what if Kushina survived with Naruto being who he is, not being a full-blooded Uzumaki with adamantine chains. Should also note, Naruto's chakra reserves, in theory, because he's full Uzumaki, his life force, all the physical traits that Uzumaki usually share, should also be increased, because we just don't know how much he gained from Minato in terms of that. Here, being full Uzumaki means he did gain some. And so Minato passes, Kushina's cradling her child, and Sarutobi looks on and so he just thinking, to be able to seal the nine tails like that, he truly was. He truly was the right choice. Or you really were the right choice to be Hokage, Minato. Farewell, my friend. He sees Kushina and is like, Sarutobi. It's all right, Kushina. There's no need to worry. And she's kind of just stoic and a little bit, but also emotional. But she's still got her. She's like, no, it's okay. It's okay, honey. Mama's here. And so, time moves forward. Now, Naruto's status as the Jinchuriki is, made a classified secret after Danzo was a dick about it. But Danzo probably might not spread that information because, obviously, Kushina is still alive. And Kushina, while she's not a active ninja, she is still someone you wouldn't want to F with. Like, the majority of Jonin would not. Hell, I mean, Hiruzen would probably debate screwing with Kushina. Even though we don't know exactly what. We don't actually know exactly what her skill set was beyond apparently learning the Rasengan, which Minato actually taught her to help counter Tail Beast bombs, and having the chakra chains. We don't know what her jutsu list looked like. We know she was powerful. I think she was at least, at minimum, a Jonin. Let's see here. Kushina. Let me just see what we have. I know she also had, I think, a combination of water. I want to say it was water, fire, and wind, maybe? That's why Naruto has a wind, dominant element, because both his parents had that, I think. Okay, she was wind and water. You'd expect her to have fire, but no, it was wind, water, and yin release. That's what it was. But unfortunately, we don't see any of those, her use any, even I think in, the Minato, was it? Light novel? Not light novel, like that Gaiden chapter. We don't see anything from her as far as I know. All we know is he developed a Rasengan to teach it to her. She was highly knowledge in sealing jutsu. So she's the one who actually taught the 8 trigram seal to him. And she had the adamantine chains. And she had a chakra nature of wind and water. So if I bring her back into, say, the combat fold later on in the series, I'm not saying I will, not saying I won't. We will definitely keep an eye on. I'll definitely have to think of what she can maybe use in conjunction. But anyway, Naruto would grow up as the son of Kushina, who would openly be known as the wife of the fourth Hokage. I think that is fair to her. I don't think they're going to hide that. And so he is known as the fourth Hokage's legacy, son and all. And I still think Naruto's rambunctious, but he's not the prankster brat, at least not in the way he was. He has a mom who loves him. And so she spends a lot of time, and they probably have a very large fortune, whatever the Uzumaki still left behind for them, or she had, and of course whatever Minato had available too. They probably live very comfortably, and they're welcome, and they're good. Naruto, however, has dreams at night. He dreams. He's actually able to kind of especially around age 5 is what I'm going to say, because that's when they start to get more active in the ninja life. And Kushina's probably starting to train him on just chakra control at the moment. Naruto's maybe even manifested a chain out of say his hand or something. It's like, wow, this is cool. Oh, it's like you really are improving, Naruto. Yeah, and then she just throws out all. But she's like, can you do this? Oh, come on, Mom, you're showing off. Well, you're gonna have to do a lot better to catch up to me and your father. Well, could Dad do a lot too? Oh, your dad had way more chains than even me. Your dad was something. And she kind of your dad really was one of the strongest men I ever knew. And it's like, I wish I knew, Dad. And can you tell me some more about him? Oh, and it's like, of course, honey. And that's probably what it is. Naruto longs to have met his father, and it hurts. he wishes he knew him, but Kushina knew him very well. She shows him pictures of him. I was like, he was the fourth Hokage, and he was the one who saved the entire village. Now, I do also believe that in those early conversations was like, but if you're going to be a ninja, you're going to have to know something. There was, know something about that night, and know something about that night, and something about you and your dad, and me. We come from a legacy of the Uzumaki, and we are known to be known as the great seal masters of this world, and we are also known to be, and because of our vitality, chakra, and life force, we have been chosen to be the Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails Fox for decades and generations. It's like, whoa. Because she's probably does well to educate them about their history, to be honest. Including about the tail beast. Like, he's aware of these things. Naruto's not dumb. He's more simple than dumb. And he's not very book smart, naturally speaking. He could certainly study if he was pushed to it. His brain doesn't work that. Kind of like me, like studying just doesn't work for me. I don't like to study. It's hard for me to retain knowledge through just standard studying means. Regardless, so she continues her story, and that night, a man came out, and he attacked the sorry, 1 second. I'm getting distracted a little bit. Anyway, and when your father saved you, but he released the Nine Tails. Wait, but you were the Jinchuriki. I was. But luckily, being an Uzumaki has a lot of perks, including the ability to survive things like that. I'm not quite as strong as I used to be. And that, I think, would be the case. I think if an Uzumaki like Kushina had the extraction, she probably would have survived. We don't know for a fact if she would have, but I get the impression she would have survived. But it probably would have weakened them to some degree. Like, her chakras are straight huge by normal standards. Like, most people in the village can't match her for chakra, but she's maybe running at like 70% versus her 100% she was years ago. Stamina isn't quite what it used to be. Maybe she can't produce quite as many chains anymore, but she still would be a beast in battle to deal with. Absolutely. So your father made the ultimate choice. He he sealed the fox away, but the fox's power is too great to be in one person all at once. So he made the choice. He split half it, one part into him before his life was taken, and then the other into you. You are the new Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto. Naruto's like, what? I got the Nine-Tails Fox inside me? You do. But it's like, don't worry. Remember what we've discussed before about our history. A Jinchuriki is not the Nine-Tail. Is not the tail beast itself. The Jinchuriki is the one who keeps the tail beast at bay. And in time, you might even. And your father was worried. Was worried about that man. So the seal he used is special. It's designed to funnel some of his chakra into you. At some point in time, you are. At some point, you will learn to control that power for yourself. Whoa, that's a lot, Mom. But this means I'm awesome, right? I'm gonna be super strong. It's like, and he's like, that's right. But the boss says, Let's say, don't get a big head. That is the one thing you can never. And she looks at him and says, never forget where you come from, but never let where you come from define who you are. Never let it corrupt you. Always be humble. Humble. You may come from a long line of great people, Naruto, absolutely, but every one of them still had to work hard to get where they are. We are the last Uzumaki as far as I know, but that does not mean we are better than anyone else. So always keep a good heart. So can you promise me this as we train and as you get older? And she's like, does the pinky promise? Always be a good person. Never look down on someone else. Can you do that, son? He's like, yeah, Mommy, I can do that. And so Piggy proves, that's my boy. All right, let's get some ramen. Yeah, ramen! And so the years pass on. And before Naruto enters the academy, he does eventually kind of go into his mind. And he meets the Nine Tails. Like, whoa, so this is the seal that keeps the Nine Tails in check. Yes, come closer, brat. And then Kurama tries to swipe at him, but Naruto's like, what? It's like, So close. And so you're the nine-tailed fox. And you're the little brat I've been sealed in next. Now, Naruto doesn't use his chain. He's got a different seal for Kurama. He has no reason to use the chains on him. He could. He could still use the chains to bind him down even more, but he's not. Should know, this would probably be right before the... I believe it's... Because I believe the Uchiha Massacre happens... We know that Naruto is in school at the point the Uchiha Massacre happens. That's the thing we do know. It's a little off how it's depicted when the Uchiha Massacre happens. But we know Sasuke is, in fact, in school at that point. So Naruto would also be in school at that point. And this would probably happen right before he starts entering the academy. Naruto and the Fox Squirrel is like, so what? I've become the bloat brat. And Naruto just looks at him. And again, Naruto's actually got really good intuition when it comes to other people. But again, the Fox, he ultimately did come around in the end and just kind of, understands like, hope to rid you of all your hate too, Kurama. But no, that's not quite the case here. And so, he's still looking like, look, Fox, I get it. You don't like being in here. I've heard about the history of the Jinchuriki, the Tail Beast, and even about the 9, including your history. It's my history. You know nothing about me. I know you've been sealed in Uzumaki time and time again. I know you were used by the Uchiha, Madara, and forcefully subjugated against your will. And Naruto heard that, and I'm going to be honest, sorry that happened to you. What? It's like, well, I mean, I get, Mom's been really stickler about me knowing about my history about the Uzumaki. And I get that, and I get you're dangerous, and I get why Jinchuriki kind of exists. I don't know if I completely like it, though. But even still, regardless of that, someone forcibly taking control of you and making you fight against people when you just wanted to be left alone. That I didn't like that. When I heard that part of your history, even I had to be like, that don't agree with that. So at least I'm sorry for that. What? Your apology means nothing to me, boy. I was like, well, either still, we're stuck together, so might as well try to get along, right? Right? It's like I'd ever get along with you. Well, what? Fine, be that way. Yeah. Hey, but Naruto just smiles like, yeah. See you later, Fox. Fuzzball. What'd you call me? Naruto laughs it off. So Naruto would occasionally visit Kurama in his head and just kind of annoy Kurama a little bit. Because again, Naruto's an inquisitive as a kid. He'd want to try to maybe do something with it. He knows he's going to have to use the Nine-Tailed Fox's chakra at some point. So trying to actually make friends would make sense. Now, how's Naruto's social life like too? Because he's still probably known as the Nine-Tailed, like people probably know him as the Fox Brat, but because Kushina's there, and because it's known that she was the previous Jinchuriki as well, and that they are the Uzumaki, there are going to be people, no matter what, who kind of view that with hate, especially after the incident, no matter what. But because the Uzumaki still live in the Leaf, their history, I think, is more well known. They're still made. What's the best way to put it? They are still made. Not made. That's not the term I'm looking for. They still remain relevant. That's what I'm trying to say. They still remain relevant in the culture of the Leaf, because you actually have an active Uzumaki clan, two, mind you, but an active Uzumaki clan in Konoha. So and he's the son of the fourth, which I do think is known. I think Naruto's heritage is known. So, because his mom's still alive, so it has to be known. So I think you get a lot more people who look at Naruto either more fondly, at minimum neutrally, but also he's the one who keeps the fox in check. Like this, and he's a nice kid, all that. He's got red hair. By the way, to answer the thumbnail real quick, I really do prefer Naruto's hairstyle, but with the red hair. I actually think that's a much better looking style than what Naruto envisioned his hair to look like. It's like, oh, I wish I had your hair, Mom. Like, no, that looked terrible on you, Naruto. But your hairstyle with your mom's color looks very good. Anyway, so he's probably actually makes a lot of friends with a lot of the other clans. Like, he's actually probably really good friends with. First off, we know he was actually at least chummy with Choji and Shikamaru in school. They probably wouldn't go so far as to say they were friends, but they were classmates. They could hang for a bit. Even Kiba, he was kind of at least chummy with to an extent. But I could see, because the Uzumaki are still in elite and they hold such a high prestige, he's straight up friends with Hinata. For example, he probably did come and actually save Hinata, and not just, get his ass kicked and protect Hinata. No, when those was it two bullies or three bullies? When those bullies came in, I was like, hey, leave her alone right now. It's like, what? Hey, wait a minute, it's him. That's the fourth kid. It's like, what? No way. You're the son of the fourth Hokage? You're just a little runt. I said, leave her alone right now. She's not doing anything to bother you, so why are you bothering her? It's like, oh, what are you going to do about Mr. Uzumaki, huh? It's like, and then Naruto just like, it's like, if I hadn't, nothing hopefully, but if I have to, I'll kick your ass. It's like, really? I'd like to see you try, Naruto. Just, boom, just kind of, got you. Because there's one thing Kushina definitely teaches him, it's how to fight. And then Naruto like summons 2 chains out. By the time he gets to the academy, he can probably do 3 chains. That's where I'd put him at. And unlike normal other Uzumaki who like comes out the waist, he can, I think, would be unique for Naruto is just kind of produce it from anywhere. So he just summons like the 2 chains like winding around him like tails. Like, what about you guys? You want to dance too? It's like, nope, no. They like pick up the phone. Like, sorry about that. You okay? It's like, yes, I'm fine. It's like, oh, what's your name? Lady Hinata. Oh, Lady Hinata, there you are. Oh, hi. Sorry, some guys were picking on her, and I just thought I should help in. I see. Oh, wait a minute. You're Kushina Uzumaki's son, aren't you? Naruto. Oh, thank you for your help, Lord Uzumaki. What, Lord? I mean, no, I'm just Naruto. Like, the Hyuga are very formal with the Uzumaki, and Kushina probably puts up with it. It's like, yes, I know you're formal. Okay, I get it. But no, you really don't have to be this formal. So Naruto is actually probably in really good standing with the Hyugas. He's also probably in really good standing with several of the other clans. Like, he's probably legit friends with Shikamaru and Choji. Shino, he's probably still finds weird, I guess, but he's a quiet guy. He's reserved, and he's a polite kid too. Weird, but polite. So I could see him at least kind of getting along with Shino. Kiba and him probably do have a good rivalry. Kiba probably butts heads with him all the time. I'll be honest, I don't, because he actually does have, and we know why Naruto actually was more into Sakura than anything else, because she gave him attention. Here, he doesn't need that issue. He's really got a normal life. So I see him polite with Sakura. I don't see him mean to her at all. And in fact, Naruto probably has his own little fangirl club like Sasuke does, because again, he is royalty in his own right. And his red hair probably gives him a much more striking look, whereas the blonde, because in Japan apparently blonde hair is associated with delinquents and being annoying and bright. And I mean, yeah, Ino was blonde too, but she just looked like a standard blonde, whereas Naruto was kind of more designed to be a bit of a punk a little bit. Let's be honest, because that is a trait in Japanese culture where blonde hair kind of signifies that. But Naruto's red hair probably is a lot more striking and like primal and fiery. And he's probably got his own fan club, which consists of obviously Hinata's, maybe not in the fan club, but obviously she's got a crush on him. No doubt Hinata gets a crush on him. I'll be honest though, I'm not sure about Sakura here and Ino, because now you got Ino and Sakura having 2 really interesting guys who are competing for them. And then obviously when the Uzumaki massacre happens, Sasuke gets a lot colder and more distant. By the by, Naruto and Sasuke probably actually started out being decent friends at first. And again, what is their name? Is it Mito? Uchiha? I am blanking. Is it Mito Uchiha? Mito Uchiha? Yeah, it is Mito. Okay, it is Mito Uchiha. She has the same name as the Jinchuriki, the first Hokage's wife. I was wondering why, just for some reason, it didn't sound right in my head. So, because Mito and Kushina are actually really good friends, they probably do hang out from time to time. But unfortunately, the Uchiha massacre would still happen. Naruto and Kushina learn about this, and they ask if Sasuke wants to just hang out and spend time. And I would say this: Naruto's probably the only person Sasuke lets his guard down around because they are really good friends already. Like Sasuke, as far as I know, was a nice kid and a sweet kid, but he didn't actually have a lot of friends in the academy. There are people who were more like, oh, it's the last Uchiha, the prestige and all that, and they were friendly, but he didn't actually have a real friend, true friend. Whereas here he does. So even though the Uzumaki massacre, like you're saying that Uchiha massacre happens, Sasuke and Naruto still actually remain tight. They still they still remain close enough that Sasuke isn't he's not a complete and utter ass in class to other people. Now, mind you, even Naruto sees like some of the fangirls act around him, and even he goes like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like I can't blame you for the way you're responding to them. Like they are so freaking annoying, dude. Honestly." But that still begs the question: Sakura, Ino, are they more into Naruto or Sasuke? Because unfortunately, they very much act like the fangirls. They do, and that would be a turnoff for Sasuke. It would not endear him to them. But Naruto is still a lot kinder. He's willing to just tolerate it more. Granted, he still like has his limits, but he's not going to be like just cold and ruthless, whatever. And it's like, but again, if they're like just ignoring him, he's not going to try anything. It's just like, whatever. It's like, okay, fine, you do you. So I could see. I remember in a different what if I could see Ino being a bit more attracted to Naruto in this circumstance. I have paired Ino up with him before. Look at my dry adopting Naruto one spoilers if you want to know which one he was paired up with. I don't know if I've done it in more than one though. Like I'm trying to remember every single female character I have paired him up with. Hinata almost happens constantly because it's the main pairing. I've done Tamari at least once, maybe twice. I've done Karin at least 3 times. Hell, I did Tayuya once. I did Ino. I think I did Ten once. I think. So, yeah, I think I've done every single main female character within his age group, save for maybe Karui or Kurosuchi. Now, Kurosuchi is older than Naruto by a little bit. And Fu. I still haven't done a Fu one. So, and I know when that one's probably going to happen. Not when, but which video that will happen in. It'll probably be with Fu in the village. But yeah, other than that, I have paired him up with every main female character within his age group. Not like when the person suggested May being the same age as him. But yeah, in his age group. So I don't know. Honestly, I could actually maybe see. But for the sake of right now, I'm gonna say Ino and Sakura would still be more into Sasuke because it's just the way they kind of acted. So ultimately, though, they, the academy days go as they do. Naruto is actually a pretty good student. He's not like top class in terms of like the books, like in terms of the book smarts, but he is really, solid in the class. Beyond that, though, with his actual training, Kushina has been stressing chakra control because of the sheer amount he has. Because sheer amount he has, and Kurama's chakra control is always important. He's got, I think by the time he graduates, he'll have access up to 4 chains, kind of Doc-Ocking it. He'll also have access to, he's also been training in sealing jutsu. That's one thing Kushina is always going to probably stressed. Basic sealing jutsu and more advanced sealing jutsu. She probably hasn't trained him as chakra element, but she also knows he probably won't be able to pull off a regular clone jutsu, so she probably has taught him the shadow clone jutsu. Because I fully believe she knows that jutsu. With the level of chakra she has, her chakra control is probably great, so she can probably do the clone jutsu. But she probably also has the shadow clone jutsu because she's got the chakra levels for it. So he probably has a shadow clone jutsu, and that's what he uses to pass the class. In terms of, is he at the very top of the class? He's not the top of the class. I think because of, the book smart stuff and, just the sheer academic stuff of it, he is probably under Sasuke, but he's probably second or third from the top. He's the second highest, he's got the second best grades in the class compared to Sasuke. And again, that's really only because Sasuke beat him when it came to the actual written exam. That'd be it. And so, yeah, otherwise, it's a nice little slice of life moments they're having here. Sasuke wants revenge. I imagine at one point with him hanging out at Kushina and Naruto's place, Kushina talks about, is that what you want, really? I mean, I have to ask, is that what Mito would have wanted, or Fugaku? Um, would you wanted you to go down into hate? It's like, so what you're saying? I shouldn't do anything. And Kushina just looks at him and she's like, did I say that? It's like, he kind of like snaps at her before she's like, don't you snap at me. It's like, she kind of like waves a few chains, like gets the fiery hair. It's like, sorry, Miss Kushina. It's like, look, it's fine. I get it. I do. I'm not saying don't be angry. I'm not saying don't be mad. If anything, if you weren't mad, I'd be more concerned. It's healthy to feel that, but don't let it consume your life. If what you want to do is avenge your clan, then yes, train, get stronger to go up against Itachi. But don't make that the sole reason for your living, because what happens after you get your yes, what happens after you kill him? What happens then? And he does actually have to. It's like, then I'll restore my clan. So you're gonna get married, find a nice girl, all that. And he goes like, well, I guess that's kind of how that would work. It's like, well, why can't you do that now? I mean, you can, and I love how, and apparently it was brought up in Boruto that you can do more than one thing. And you can have a life while still training for that goal. It's like it's not a foreign concept, which is why I kind of don't like I don't hate that Uraraka Deku pairing in My Hero, but I hate the fact that that was her mentality. No, I'm going to focus all on my career right now. You can do both. Like, seriously, you're teens. Live a little. You're allowed to do that. Either way. So Sasuke and Kushina being a much older ninja, all that. She's like, take this from someone who's lost, who's lost everyone. My clan's gone, Sasuke. There may be a few of us scattered out there somewhere, but I don't know who they are, who they are. As far as I know, it's me and Naruto. We're the last Uzumakis. And Sasuke kind of takes a back seat for that, because he does forget that, yeah, the Uzumakis were an exceptionally powerful clan. And they're the last ones, too. They were also wiped out. Now, granted, it's not a one-to-one scenario, as they were wiped out from the inside. But still, they can relate on some level. And so, just take care of yourself. Don't lose everything you are just for revenge. Don't make it your sole purpose. And so Sasuke does take this into consideration, which does mean he is a more well-adjusted here than he is in the original. I'd also say that him and Naruto do train together, which has been a boon for Sasuke, because his hand-to-hand could rival even someone like Lee right now, because he's also had to use his body, train with Naruto using his chains, kind of adapt around the chains. The chains usually went out at the end, but his ability to be, unpredictable thanks to Naruto's training really helps. And Naruto's hand-to-hand is probably almost as good as Sasuke's. Like, I'm not saying he would beat Lee in a straight fight. Lee would still beat him in a straight hand-to-hand fight. But you combine all the other skills, it does make him a bit more of a competent, a bit more of a competent ninja in this case. And I imagine, like, Sasuke has probably also learned a couple extra sealing moves from, like, say, Kushina and Naruto. Like, basic sealing, like, for storage seals, but also, like, some basic chakra seals, too. Or, like, a barrier. I can actually see the barrier seal being more effective. But, again, he's not a steel master or anything. He certainly doesn't have the adamantine chains. So, that's kind of where we leave them off. Now, the Mizuki incident would still happen, but Naruto wouldn't be a part of that. Naruto passes completely. And this would be a problem because Iruka probably does catch up with Mizuki, probably gets really badly injured. But the scroll of sealing is still. And I bet because of the Uzumaki secrets within that seal too, Kushina maybe gets involved. And that's when Iruka's on the verge of death, and all of a sudden Mizuki hears a sound, and there he sees the fiery habanero of the leaf. It's like, Kushina, what are you doing here? Well, I was on my way out for a walk, and I heard someone had stolen the scroll of sealing. That wouldn't be you, would it, Mizuki? It's like, yeah, you, you, you think I'm scared of you? You're not even the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki anymore. You're not. You don't even have the Nine-Tails anymore. You're just the housewife. I don't need. It's going to take me less than a minute to get through you. Of course, he's also nervous. Like, really? Then by all means, take your shot. To go all king busy. Take your shot. And he just like throws it all of a sudden. Was this yours? Like he throws maybe a couple of shurikens, including like the two big Fuma ones he had, because he had two, I believe. Just just grabs like, huh? You should probably have these back. What's it? He like gets it, like his arm, like gets his arm, like, you probably don't want to move. You're gonna end up losing that arm. And then she just kind of binds him. Although to be fair, you might end up losing it anyway, based on that blood loss. But you know what? I'm gonna give you a chance anyway. I'm not a ninja anymore. You're right, not actively. But you really, really shouldn't underestimate me. And so, by the way, how old would Kushina be? I imagine she's in her late 30s now, which you'd think makes her past her prime. Which a lot of people see a lot of people in Naruto think like your 20s or like your peak period, but no, like Jiraiya was 50. Yeah, he was 50, but he was at his peak power. Like I think like people just give like the aging thing too much credit. Now that being said, people do tend to prematurely age a little bit in this series. I think like Kakashi's starts to get wrinkles in his 30s, but again, when you live a hard life on the battlefield. But Kushina was 24 when she died. Okay, that would actually put her 13 years later, because that would be how old Naruto roughly is, about 37, which would put her late 30s. So, to be fair, I don't see her really, because the Uzumaki also have very long lives, similar to the Senjus too. So I don't really see her aging. If anything, she's probably got just a more mature look to her. Not much wrinkles, just more like looking a bit more like May. May has a mature look to her. Not an old look, a mature look. Anyway, though, and we would then end with the team selectment happening. Team selections happening. The Team 7, Team 8, Team 9, all that. The team selection happening. So we're going to leave it there. We went a little long, but it's part 1. We'll be back on Wednesday for part 2. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.